This is Doug Scheiding, the Rogue Cookers, Texas Embedded Correspondent. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show.
Start the game! Let's go!
We'll do it live. Okay. Well, do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike your match, and... Oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening and welcome to the really big Barbecue Central show. This is the show that talks about all things that are important in the world of barbecue and grilling. The show originating from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city, Bomb City, USA, Cleveland, Ohio, the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday evening's live fire fun and frivolity show. If you would like to get in contact with the show this evening, or you would like to follow the show during off-show hours, David Lee, tell them how they do all that.
You can get in touch with the show by sending an email to Greg at bbqcentralshow.com. Follow us on all the social media channels at BBQ Central Show. And be sure to subscribe to the show podcast feed on your favorite podcast platform.
Anything else you want to find out about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And here's what's happening on the show tonight. Coming up in about 12 minutes from now, it's Ben. And I can't believe it. I think the last time he was on was end of August, beginning of September, but it only seems like a mere few weeks because I have not been able to put my hands around this guy this frequently in recent memory. The barbecue entertainer of the world, Jack Arnold, will be joining the show. So, topics to include: Jack is now a co-owner or co-stakeholder or co-something with a couple other guys in the rub business. Interested to hear about why he got into the rub business in 2026. Also, what has been happening on the Barbecue Entertainers World Tour as he is traveling around, dare I say, gallivanting across the country and perhaps the globe to a certain degree at 5-star luxurious properties, throwing really cool, high-vibed barbecue parties. And we have some other live fire topics to talk about as well. Perhaps a preview of what an impending summer/fall barbecue tour might have in the works for Jack Arnold. So pay attention, get out your pen or your pencil or some type of writing utensil to start jotting down where Jack is going to be all across this great land. And maybe you can land yourself a ticket and see what Jack does in person and then catch the proverbial vibe. Then, after Jack Arnold, because it is the third Tuesday of the month, 35 past the first hour, it has to be a visit with our pal Wes Wright from CookoutNews.com. Shame on me. Not that I don't expect Wes to be in every third Tuesday like the proverbial clockwork that he is. But I love to reach out to the guests and be like, hey, just confirming. Usually a Thursday, a Friday before leading into the Tuesday. Just a quick note or thumbing out a text on the blower saying, hey, just want to confirm our segment. Here's what I'm thinking. Anything you're burning on, anything you want to get off your chest, anything you want to talk about from a promotional standpoint, shoot them back to me. Let's set up the sound check. I meant to do it to Wes at least 45 times since last Wednesday, and I got to 0 of them until this afternoon, round about 4:45, when I stepped in the door and shot Wes a text and said, hey, sorry, I'm assuming yes, but I never want to assume 100% because then I'm going to have to burn through my evergreen content to fill time. He said, of course, don't worry about it. I'll be there per usual, and we can talk about some Cookout news since last month. So we have items to talk about with Wes Wright, to include a new grill from the pellet grill manufacturer Rec-Tec, West-Tec. It is Rec-Tec. Also, we'll be talking about the same company that we talked about with Dave Gafford last weekend, just in a different roundabout way, that being Spider Grills. And we will end it up on a different note that I'm not going to remember right off the top of my head, but of course I can just go right to the outline. If he had heard any feedback, breaking news, I didn't hear any breaking news from the HPB Expo 2026, which I believe was showcased in New Orleans, Louisiana. So that's what will happen in the first hour. And then in the second hour, it was jam-packed. We did have a quarterly guest, but that's not going to work out. We did have a long-time guest, like from a long time ago, who I'm not going to jinx in hopes of a rebook, and he backed out. So something is happening in the works right around my general area. I'm not going to jinx this as well, but we may or may not have a 14 past the second hour surprise guest, not Marley Rampey, by the way. And we'll get to her here in just a second. So that's how the show is laying out. Shortly, Jack Arnold. After Jack, it'll be a Wes Wright. That'll close the first hour. And then a second hour potential surprise guest. And we'll leave it at that. Don't forget, you can follow me socially, Instagram, the Twitter, TikToks, Snapchat, LinkedIn, all with the handle at BBQ Central Show. And we say good evening to those of you watching tonight through one of our video streaming platforms. You can go to facebook.com/BBQ Central Show, or you can watch on YouTube, which is youtube.com/@BBQ Central Show. We do have a new YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody, including all guests. And while the one 2 weeks ago was probably the worst, this one might be 1B, if you can believe that, and it goes a little something like this. Would you rather get your hands stuck in a meat grinder or in a blender? And currently 60% of you are saying you would rather have the meat grinder. Whoa! Betwixt the two, a little hindsight or a little foreshadowing on who was supposed to be there at 10:14 this evening, but it's not going to happen. But betwixt the two, I'm going blender if it's all the same. Meat grinder, the word grinder just does not have a vernacular succulence that I'm looking for when I'm trying to pick between two really bad things. Grinder makes it seem like it's going to be ultra painful. Blender, however, could be that initial pain because I'm in my mind playing it out to be like Ninja Blender, or perhaps even better yet, Vitamix Blender. Turn that thing on high immediately. It's probably going to hurt really bad for a second, but then it's just going to completely annihilate, wrist down from, on the hand, as it were. And I think at that point, you just stop feeling everything. And perhaps the Vitamix is turning at revolutions so neck-breaking, creating such ferocity and friction, subsequent heat, that is actually going to cauterize the wound that it has left, taking the hand from your body. That's where I'm going with that. I don't know if you're putting that much thought into it. Have a tendency to be a little bit of an overthinker when it comes to really bad situational options. I want to evaluate all outcomes and make sure that when I'm putting myself in a no-win situation, what's the most profitable no-win of the no wins, and to me, it's a blender. And now, as I have been giving you my thoughts on it, we have gone to Difty on grinder or meat blender, but that'll change as time wears on here on the show. Quickly, show feedback. Of course, Marley Rempe, no surprise, hitting huge. A lot of you males secretly writing in rule number 1 of the show, no names please, asking me about this toupee thing. If I came in, let me know if this thing really pans out. Got on the toupee queen Instagram and was pretty impressed with what she's doing. These kind of things. Don't worry, fellas, I got your back. Rule number 1 of the show applies. No names please, as I just mentioned. But if this really does pan out, and if this is something that can sustain itself, I'm here with you. Like, we all can't have great hair. Not only can we not all have great hair, we don't all have great hair. Like, it's just that. It's just that. So if you don't have great hair, but you have great toupeic options, not a word, why not? The toupee queen does not pay me to shill for her account, but go on there and see what she's doing. I dare you to tell me you're not impressed. Whether you would do it or not, well, let me rephrase it. If you have hair, you're going to shit all over it. But if you don't, if you have bad hair, you're open to options. I mean, hair matters. Right, we're waiting for Jack Arnold to show up in the green room, which he will be here shortly. But before we do that, let me talk to you quickly about Primo. What do we love about ceramic cookers? We love that they're fuel efficient. We love that they can achieve low and slow temperatures for the traditional barbecue meats. But we love that they can get rip-roaring hot for high-temperature grilling of steaks and other thin cuts. But what's missing in the everyday lineup of ceramic cookers? The real ability to do true two-zone cooking. Yeah, I know. I can do two-zone cooking in my blah, blah, blah ceramic cooker. Oh, yeah? Well, get your hands on that oval. Then you can see what true two-zone cooking looks like. Because they have that game-changing oval design, the shape gives you the ability to execute that two-zone setup that you desire. Also, gives you those other ceramic grill benefits as well. When you break it down, there's more than 60 different ways to cook on this thing. Of course, they got all the accessories that you want, so you can probably end up spending more money on accessories than the grill, but hey, that's the fun of live fire cooking. Only sold through dealers. So go to primogrill.com and find a dealer near you. Here's the bottom line. Best ceramics in the biz? Yes. Patented technology? Yes. True two-zone cooking capabilities? I just said it. Multiple sizes of ovals? Oh, yeah. Visit primogrill.com. Find the dealer near you, and while you're at it, give them a follow on the Facebooks and the Instas. But we'll be back with Jack Arnold right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Show studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, welcome back. My first guest this evening, one of the most recognizable faces in the backyard live fire community and amongst the luxury properties across the country. Putting together an incredible barbecue tour this spring, this summer, this fall. But now, I mean, he's always been an entrepreneur, but now a new level of entrepreneurship is something that we're going to be leading the conversation with here this evening. It's our pal Jack Arnold. Hey, Jackie.
Hey, bud. How you doing tonight?
I am well. I'm excited to have you. We got plenty of topics to cover here during our segment tonight. But before we do that, we have a YouTube poll question of the week that we're asking everybody. And by the way, there is a no-win situation here, but it's got to be the best of the no-wins. So we're asking everybody, including you, Jack, would you rather get your hands stuck in a meat grinder or a blender?
What the hell kind of question is that?
Well, you should have been here 2 weeks ago. You'd be asking the same question.
Jeez. Yeah, there's no way you're gonna win. So I guess being a meat man, I gotta just sacrifice myself to the meat grinder.
Wow, meat grinder. All right. Well, you've taken off of 50-50 Delta. The YouTube voting public cannot make up their mind, but Jack Arnold has put us over on the grinder. I was a blender guy myself because I figured it would hurt really bad for a couple seconds, but then it might stop because it's just whipping around. Where grinder verbally to me just sounds like there will be never-ending pain, but it's never going to happen to either one of us, so let's just move on from there. As I mentioned...
As Scotty Scheffler said, that's just an awful question.
Yes, of course. So go back to the show 2 weeks ago and then tell me which question was worse, and I'll be waiting for your reply on that on the other end. As I had mentioned in the open, you are an entrepreneur, of course, with the events that you put on, and you're contracting with all these great properties and all this stuff. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But lately, you've gotten into the rub game. The company or the brand is Burnt End. And of course, the rub itself being Founder's Blend. So if we can back it up, when I became introduced to a Jack Arnold, you were all about showcasing other rubs and helping a buddy out, or maybe giving a little light to somebody up and coming or that you were a fan of. And now you are in the business of. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's something that you're still all about, but now this is a business for you as well. So how does it all make sense for you to get into the rub game at this point?
It really was something that years ago, I wasn't 100% sure about it, but then I kind of stuck with the idea. I wanted to see a lot of the products that were coming out to see what was potentially missing on the market. And when I kind of twisted and turned something that my dad and I worked on when he was around, I called Brian Littlefield, my good friend, who is the founder of Jocko Fuel and a product developer, absolute genius and a great friend. I said, I think I have something. Because he had mentioned a while ago, like if I ever wanted to jump into this, to call him. And that's exactly what I did. And he pretty much loved the product and the idea as much as I did. And we've got absolutely just studs as co-founders, not just Brian and myself, but Mario Calpo. This guy's a freaking legend, extreme outdoorsman. He's also a chef, just a wonderful human being. And then a man that I've just known for years and grown to love is Pete Roberts, founder of Origin USA. So the four of us all have our own careers, our own jobs and things we're really locked in on. But and not to sound cliche, but we all agreed that we wanted to do this for the people. Like we wanted to do this for you all, to do something different that you haven't had. And I actually got a bottle of it right here. It's 3.5 ounces, glass bottles, feels really great in the hand. It's a great logo. Got to give credit to Brian and his wife, Megan, for putting all this together. Very simple ingredients, luxury style, as clean as it can possibly be. But the key with this thing is that it's equally as good of a finishing as it is a preseason, which is something we struggled to find from our perspective and from our advantage point. We had a lot of great pre-seasonings and a lot of great finishings, but it was the pre-seasons that we had were just a little too gritty to use as a finishing as well. So we wanted to fine it out a little bit. And I realized that not every, I beg your pardon, but many of the rubs out there do contain black pepper. So everyone who knows me knows that I try to disrupt it any way I possibly can. So we completely switched out black pepper with black garlic. And this is a black garlic maple bourbon flavor. And if people do the studies, way too much black pepper can lead to kidney stones. So I don't want to overkill it with black pepper. So we started off with something like this, and it really is it's blown our minds. We're so grateful for everyone who has supported this and helped us put this together. They see the vision for what we were going for. And it's just the beginning. Right now, we've given it to a lot of executive chefs that I've worked with across the board. They love it. Extremely grateful for that. I know a few of them are going to start carrying them in the properties. So yeah, man, this is just the beginning. We're just, 4 guys who wanted to do something for everybody. And so far it's been awesome. We got more coming down the road, but it's a great start with the Founders Blend here.
So the origin story of the Founders Blend specifically is between you and your dad, or is it start there, but then it's also a combo from the other 3 owners?
Yeah, it's pretty much. See, I started this kind of mix with Dad back in 2018, and then I twisted and turned it over the years, and then once we came up with something that I felt was significant enough to let someone, like a quality man and a foodie like Brian Littlefield try and get his hands on, I knew it had to be something different, and it had to be something that was from the heart that I truly believed in. And that's what this has turned into. You can literally taste the difference. I was honored and blessed to host the 2026 Carolina Barbecue Festival here in Charlotte this past Saturday. And I brought a couple bottles out there, let everyone taste test it and try it. And I had amazing feedback. So we're very, very happy. And we're wanting everyone to get on this ride with us because it's a really fun one. And it's very high energy, to say the least, with the things that I do and everywhere I try to bring them. So the best way to really just try it in person, obviously, if you want to order, you can do that. But if you come to any of my events, I'm going to be having it with me everywhere. So you will get to taste test it in person. We did the Greenbrier in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia last weekend over the Masters weekend. And it was a beautiful event, about 95 people down there at Howard's Creek. And we put it all over the steaks, Colorado craft beef, Jeff, just extraordinary dry aged steaks, and had some Grill of Grills Kongs, which my favorite grills that I work with right now, right there by the creek, beautiful setting. And we're really pulling an immaculate vibe so far this year in the spring tour. And I really can't wait till the next one on May 1st over at the Broadmoor in Colorado Springs.
Other rubs and potentially sauces down the line, or we just want to wait and see?
Who knows?
Here? Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, we if you're going to dream big. Of course, we've talked about just taking this, to certain levels, but we're starting, with patience, with this. The next ones coming out are going to be really, really tasty, very universal. Can't really tell you too much about them. I can at least say that the next one is going to be more barbecue forward. And I'm really, really excited to get these out to the public so they can see what it's all about and why it's different and why it is a flavor of the future. We're dialed in, to say the least. So
I remember when I had Jess Pryles on the show long time ago, first couple of times we started talking about rub, and she had I think it was
Absolute
just the
legend.
black rub at that point. And she's like, this isn't something that I was just bringing out. This was a calling from my followership. And then we got the Wheels in Motion, and she thought she was going to be done with that one. And then there was another calling, and then there was another call. Now she's got a complete portfolio, and she's into clothing. She's into all this other stuff. That was a long time ago. In 2026, mid-2026 at this point, or mid-April 2026, you walk down any grocery store, you probably have at least one half of a full aisle that's barbecue sauces and barbecue rubs and barbecue gadgets and all this other stuff. At some point, I want to believe that there is a dilution of talent in the pool here, because there are so many options, or at least noise, right? So how does Jack Arnold and the co-founders get above the noise?
Again, we're just doing something different. We're keeping it really simple. We're not overkilling it with a bunch. Small glass bottles. It can be put on every single kind of food, like I said, as a finishing, which we love. And that's the kind of road that we're going to take. It's one that you can honestly carry in your pocket and take with you everywhere you go, even when you go out to eat. That was the vision that we were going with this kind of a rub. And you mentioned someone like Jess. I mean, she is a leading figure in the barbecue industry. Blessed to call her a friend, and Hardcore Black is without a doubt one of my favorite rubs of all time. She put that together, wanting to do something different from the heart. And I mean, the whole Hardcore Carnivore line is amazing, and it's taken off right now. So that's a great role model for someone like me who's kind of beginning. I've really enjoyed being able to see some people like Jess and Matt Pittman, just amazing people along the road who have just built empires. And this is, again, the direction we're just going right now is for the people, want them to experience it, have something different, because we do believe that different is going to be good. And that's what we want people to experience when they get their hands on the Founders Blend. So,
all right, so everybody go try the Founders Blend, and you're going to be very happy that you did that. And we wish you success as you continue to build that portion of the business up. However, we do have this well-formed...
Appreciate you saying that, brother.
Absolutely. You have the well-established barbecue parties that you're throwing, the barbecue events. You just mentioned the Greenbrier not too long ago, and, of course, the one that you just had this past weekend. So how is the 2026 spring tour looking compared to other spring tours, and what are you looking to bring this year that maybe somebody that has attended a Jack Arnold party before might not have experienced in the past?
I love that you said that, because I have had some repeat goers and attendees who come to it, and some of them are willing to travel to come to them right now if it's within a certain distance from their house. And that's the coolest thing. The spring tour, I mean, each year has fortunately gotten bigger and bigger. Each time I think that's got to be it, I wind up adding a few more shows. Like I mentioned a month or two ago that I was pretty much done for this year. I said I may or may not add 2 or 3 more this year. Well, just added 3 more in the last 2 weeks. So I got to get some family time out of that. So it's really special and beyond words what it has become. These general managers, food and beverage directors, executive chefs, these guys and these gentlemen and ladies are the best in the business. I mean, they are not in their position of 5-star properties for nothing. So they could go any direction they want to host these kind of parties. So I really had to gain a certain level of trust to do this. And now the tour is bigger than it's ever been, because most of these properties know individuals at other properties, and all they got to make is one phone call to see, hey, is Jack for real? Like, is this going to be fun? Is this going to be a word for us? So yes, that's what makes it very special, is that I have gained friendships along this way. I've gained trust. A lot of people come to these events now and they get connections, they get business connections and ways to benefit themselves, not only just have a great time at them, but you're getting to hang with quality people in beautiful settings. So it's all worked out for everybody so far. Me, where I come into play, I'm just the guy cooking steaks and lighting the night up and bringing vibes for everybody. Like you said, the spring tour is going to be leading into a massive remaining part of the year. I mean, the summer and fall are absolutely incredible. So I had mentioned the Broadmoor that we've got on May 1st. This is the first one I've done there since 2024. It is a 3-day event, and It's sold out right now. Right there in the middle of Pike National Forest at their Emerald Valley Ranch, with cabins everywhere. I've been messaged by a few of the couples who've already signed up. They attended my event in 2024 at the Cloud Camp, and they're coming. So that's what this is all about. We get to build bonds with people who, some people, as I've said before, can only take me an annual dose or 2. And, some people who wait 2 years, they're excited to see me, because I'm absolutely excited to see them too. And, I really wish that everyone, I know it's easier said than done. I really wish everyone who I've ever met in my life could attend one of these just to see what it's all about. They know me. They'll know I'll take extreme care of them, to say the least. But just because everyone in my life has been a part of this, and I feel like I owe that to them to at least show them what this has turned into. And, I know a lot of these properties are expensive to go to and stuff, so I'd be fair about that. But at some point, my dream will come true, and everyone who I've ever loved and appreciated who's been a part of this will get to see what it's all about, including you, my brother.
Yeah,
you need to see one at some point soon.
Doubt. Can't take it with you. So I'm ready to throw down some ducats to get some Jack Arnold vibes, no doubt.
All day, brother.
Outside of the cooking.
Yes, sir.
Fish. Vegas.
Here we go.
Does any of that make sense to you?
Rings a bell. Yes, sir.
Yes,
sure does.
That's right. Of course. So, you got to be on a plane headed there, right?
Actually, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir, my friend. I am heading there on Thursday for the middle of the middle 3-night run. They're doing 3 straight weekends of 3 nights.
Wow.
At the Sphere. They just completed an amazing weekend. I went for all 4 nights in 2024, and Fish was the second act that the Sphere had at the time they opened. The first was U2, as you remember. I think they had like 40 shows or something there. Then Fish came in there, and they just absolutely rocked it, and I was kind of spoiled at that point. I almost don't want to see Fish anywhere else but the Sphere now. So this was a weekend that I had free in my schedule. I am absolutely going to go out there for 3 nights and see these new visuals look amazing. Blessed that the lighting director, Chris Carota, CK5, has become a friend. He's putting on some real magic, some visual spectacles that I've never seen before going on right now, and I can't wait to be there for it. These will be my 55th, 56th, and 57th Fish show. So we're getting up there. I do not know if I'm going to be doing this much longer. At some point, you got to stop. But this is what it's all about. Music is about, it's about how it makes you feel on the inside. And I know how Fish makes me feel on the inside. I know how being part of that experience makes me feel on the inside. And it's made me a better person over the years. So I love being with them. And who knows? I mean, they're getting up there in age. I don't know how much longer they're going to be touring. So I really want to enjoy it while I've got them. And, like you said, you can't take them with you, but what you have in your head is something you can collect forever. And those are great memories for me.
I haven't been a very big jam band guy. One of my friends who I've become really good friends with through social media, through barbecue, is one of the executive producers over at the Howard Stern Show. And he's real big. So he loves Fish, but he's real big into Goose. And he came out here last year.
Oh, yeah, they're great.
Swung through Cleveland. He's like, I got to go. They're close enough. So he had seen them like 20 times last year in various states and formats and so forth. And I'm like, okay, let's see what this is about. And so I'm like, how many times have you seen it? It was like some ridiculous amount. Like, how can you go that many times to the same band? And he said, simply, look, I understand the question, but the experience and the fact that this show tonight is not going to be the same show in Cleveland tomorrow night and is not going to be the same show in Detroit the next night. I couldn't wrap my head around that, but I do wrap my head around the experience, the fun time we had, and the crowd vibe that was going on. I mean, is it my cup of tea? Am I putting it on in the car? No. But for one time or the next time that band rolls in, would I go? Absolutely. It was a great experience, and it was a connection point between me and Jason.
Correct. And I relate Fish to, or I correlate Fish to one of my heroes, Laird Hamilton, who says what consistently draws him to surfing is that it's always different. Same thing with Fish, the show, the everything about it is different. They could play the same song 20 times and there is something different in the jam segment that makes it special. Laird says every time he goes surfing, the waves break different, the wind hits different, the light hits different. Something is different every single Fish show you go to. You won't find the same set list twice. That's why when they did the Baker's Dozen, the 13 shows at Madison Square Garden, they did 13 shows in 21 nights. Over 230 songs, if I'm not mistaken, 0 repeats.
Wow.
So that's why you go. It's going to be consistently different every time and a new experience. And the crowd is it's a real happy crowd, and you're in the same vibe together, you're surrendering to the flow, as they say, and it's the best feeling. So yeah. Well, setting your soul free is very crucial for success.
No doubt.
Sometimes, Greg.
No doubt. I think you're going to have a great time, of course, given the venue and the city that you're going to be in. If we dial it back to the barbecue tour, where can people go to see dates, grab tickets, and all that fun stuff?
All right, so my very first pinned post on my Instagram page has my entire tour, and any dates that I've added have been updated and edited and modified in that post. You can also go to my website. I got to get that updated pretty soon, but right now the best place is the first pinned post on Instagram, and there's press releases out right now. You can Google my name and some of these hotels, and they should give you the press release and the ticket link, but it's really an amazing time. It's a special time. We all work so hard now to get through life, having one of those rare occasions, if you're into that sort of thing, I swear it's very different. It's very creative. It's great energy. It's food that you love with people you love in settings that you love. So to me, it's perfect. I mean, I absolutely am blessed to have this job. And when you come, you'll see why it's so special. You'll certainly see why it's so special to me. And I know it's one that, you'll remember it for sure. And the reason the properties are at the top of the ticket instead of me, and I designed it that way, not just out of respect for them, but that's the thing that people remember the most. They remember the guy cooking the steaks and the fun times and the energy and whatnot, but they do remember the place where they had it probably the most. And that's what it's all said about. And then they wind up bringing their kids more often, and those kids bring theirs to the future, and everyone wins. We all see it from the same vision of what we all want to do and the experiences that we want to create for everybody. And yeah, I don't have any brake pedals, so luckily everyone's been okay with that so far.
Right, we're all downhill.
And this is year number 8.
Year number 8.
Yeah,
wow,
year number 8. So we're cruising for a while. Right. You've known me for a while now, bud. You knew me before this even started.
No doubt. So glad to see where this has gone, and we're looking forward to the rest of the year here. We'll catch up maybe mid-year, see how the tour is going, see what else is coming down the pike here. But wish you a great time this coming weekend and continued success. We'll talk soon.
Thank you so much, brother. Your tickets are on me if you make it to a show, sir.
All right. Your words, Jackie boy. Never know. I might bump out of Seatown and see where you're at. Jack Arnold right there. We have Wes Wright in the green room. Before we get to him, talk to you quickly about Fireboard. Yes, that's right. Fireboard, they are the innovators behind Fireboard 2, Fireboard Pro, Fireboard Spark, Fireboard Beacon, and the wireless Fireboard Pulse. Experience total control over all of your devices from anywhere in the world with the Fireboard app. Discover more by visiting this website, fireboard.com, or by calling this number, 816-945-2232. That's 816-945-2232, or visit fireboard.com. We are back with Wes Wright. Stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Stern, Jim Rome, Dan Patrick, and Greg Rempe. The Mountain Rushmore of talk show entertainment. Now, let's get back to the Barbecue Central Show.
And we thank Jack Arnold for joining us last segment. OfficialJackArnold.com is his website, but if you want the most up-to-date barbecue tour dates, go to his Instagram, and the first pinned post has all dates that are currently in the pike, in the hopper. My next guest runs CookoutNews.com, and he is a Barbecue Central Show's guest Hall of Famer. It's Wes Wright. Hey, Wes.
Hey, Greg.
You're going to go to a Jack Arnold barbecue tour event in 2026.
I'll have to look into it, but
take that as a yes, potentially. Why not?
We'll
All right. So we do have a YouTube poll question of the week. It is a would you rather, and much like 2 weeks ago, this question sucks as well. Wes, would you rather get your hands stuck in a meat grinder or a blender?
I'm going to go blender.
67% of the YouTube voting public also agreeing with Wes and me, saying blender. Why do you say blender?
I feel like a meat grinder would pull you in a little more and do some more damage where, you might have like a cauliflower hand inside of a blender, but it still could be functional.
Yeah, so I thought grinder just sounded extremely more painful. And I didn't even think about having a hand after that. It would just, be really painful, maybe not having. With the blender, like Vitamix, just kick it on high, probably hurts for about 2 to 3 seconds. And then, because it is Vitamix, you leave it on, it generates heat, cauterizes the wound. and then you just pull your hand in it. So sans hand, you could probably just go on about your day at that point.
Yeah. Plus, I mean, you can throw that in the dishwasher and clean it. Where a meat grinder, that's hand cleaning when you're done. So
yeah. I mean, you don't want any of that remnant hand meat in there. You could have disease, cross-contamination, the list goes on. All right, so Wes Wright is here, of course, in his third Tuesday of the month segment. A couple things to talk about here. Last week, I had my unofficially official grill reviewer, product reviewer guy, David Gaffer from the Barbecue Lab, and we talked for the majority of that segment about a company that I'm going to be talking about with you tonight, which is Spider Grills. He had cooked on the Huntsman and the Giant Huntsman and gave us some pretty in-depth reviews. You have a write-up on Spider Grills on your website. What angle did you take?
I was covering kind of where it started for him, which was with Weber kettle mods. There's lots of economic headwinds right now. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunity rather than going out to buy a new grill this spring. Why not take the Weber kettle that, I feel like every household has in America and mod it, get the latest tech and some cool stuff for it.
Have you used any of their modification equipment?
I haven't yet. I'm a perfect candidate though. I have a Weber kettle like most people that I bought, 15 years ago and had a crappy cover, so it rotted out and then it just sits outside. I had a tree fall on it, but the thing's still solid. It's just has like a broken wheel and a broken handle. So I'm like, man, I should just get some of these mods and rather than just, fixing what's there, make it better.
Have you been able to find any true feedback on how well the modifications work?
Yeah, they have a lot of great feedback that I've seen. Everywhere I've looked, people seem happy with them. I've watched various reviews on YouTube and read stuff online. And I know the company's growing like crazy too right now. They're seeing a lot of success in that area and with the Huntsman too. But nothing. I've read nothing but good things. They actually started with like a pellet grill mod, back in the day that I don't think they even sell anymore. But people liked that too.
So from a product standpoint, you don't have any of the mod stuff, but do you have a Huntsman or a Giant Huntsman, or have you been contacted about any of that?
No, I do talk to someone from that company, but I haven't used any of their products yet.
Is that something you would think about buying?
I think it's with my own money.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely on the Weber side. On the Huntsman, I am pretty intrigued by it just because I like that easy access port that they have in the front, to keep your fire going. And I like just a lot of the design and fit and finish on it. I think it looks like a solid product.
I feel like this is a ceramic cooker, but I could purposefully put it up 2 stories and push it off, and it's going to hurt my cement. And then I'm going to pick it up and we're going to be able to cook on it and, wipe off a little bit of the cement dust. And it's like nothing even happened on the grill. I think it looks like a brick shit house.
Yeah, it does. It looks, you don't have to worry about that, breaking ceramics with it. It's for sure looks like solid steel and it looks pretty compact, and like it's big enough, but it's also not like this flimsy thing. It looks like a solid thing that you could, be a little rougher with for sure.
Yeah, I think the Giant Huntsman is weighing in at 190 pounds. Like it's substantial.
Yeah, that's beefy. I wonder what gauge steel they're using for that. I'm curious.
I don't know, but David Gafford and I talked about how for every new Huntsman that comes out down the line, that he's going to carve out some kind of a shooting range at his facility there in Indiana and pump some 45 rounds into it to see if it even bothers it. Because I'm like, I think you could stand behind it. You're going to be okay.
Yeah, that's the trick for protection is use a Huntsman.
Isn't that like the next viral video that's going to be happening? We're going to have somebody stand behind the Giant Huntsman and his buddy's going to shoot some rounds down there. And hopefully he makes it. But, give me some credit if this thing turns into a viral sensation, make some money off of it. From a business perspective, Wes, is 2026 the year that Gen Pop finds out about Spider Grills and their portfolio of products?
I think so. I think they get a lot more visibility this year with how they've been growing, and then also, it seems like they're investing in growth. And they've started out like a lot of good brands have, where they've built a solid community and following behind them. And I feel like that swells and people start hearing rumblings about it. So that translates into, growth feeds growth in that area.
Rec-Tec's got a new pellet grill on a cart. When I look at things like this, I either think of something that Blackstone would have made, or I think of it wants to approach some kind of a Weber Performer kind of a situation, but with a little bit more of a substantial cabinet. So what can you tell us about this cooker?
Yeah, it's a pellet. It's a pellet grill, emphasis on the grill, where they have a special burner at the bottom that's made for high heat grilling. It'll still do your traditional smoking and low and slow, but they claim temperatures up to 1,000 degrees. They've had this out for a few years. It's the Bullseye line. They've come out with a few different iterations. The newest model has a more substantial card. It claims to handle temps within 5 degrees. And it looks, Rec-Tec, they build some reasonably thick grills too. This one has their bull horns on it, which I don't know your thoughts on those. Some people love them, some people hate them. But it's, it looks like it's a neat idea, to be able to officially grill with your pellet grill.
1,000 degrees. Like, where do we go temperature wise where we're just getting ridiculous at this point? 1,000 degrees seems like a lot for a grill.
Yeah, I don't usually grill over like 650 personally, but I just finish off my steaks at that temperature and I'm good. But if you like it, black and blue, like a Pittsburgh style steak, I guess you could do that at 1,000 degrees.
Can we agree that while cool, so let's say 1,000 degrees is cool, or it can grill, this pellet grill can achieve grilling temperatures or hyper grilling temperatures. While it's cool, not the most fuel efficient way to cook still.
No, I mean, I'm sure at 1,000 degrees,
I guess I should say.
Yeah, you're at 1,000 degrees, just roaring, pellet fueled fire. You're going to burn through some pellets for sure.
Where does Rec-Tec fit in the rankings of pellet cookers, in your opinion?
I would, if I'm trying to think, go through some brands in my head.
So like number one is Traeger for sure, right?
Yeah. I mean, Traeger or, Pit Boss is up there too with some of their latest stuff, I'd say. From there, I bet you Blackstone actually sells more pellet grills at this point than Rec-Tec would be. I don't know. That might be far-fetched, but it's my guess. But beyond that, I'm trying to think what other brands. And I know I'm missing somebody I'll think of. Yeah, sorry. Weber, there you go. Yeah, Weber, it's probably, I bet you sales rankings, I bet it's Pit Boss, Traeger, Weber, might intermix there between the three then from there, I think it's much more open playing field. And I bet you Rec-Tec's near the top of that next tier.
So outside of sales or revenues, like where would you personally rank them as ones you like best?
I like Rec-Tec's grill. Yeah, I like Rec-Tec's grills. I think their portfolio is a little confusing. They have a lot of variations of what seemingly are very similar grills. So for me personally, I don't really know which one you'd want or don't want, or what the value proposition for each one. But I like the quality they use. They focus on using stainless steel a lot and thicker steel than some other companies. They were built on that background of customer service, where one of the founders would give you his personal cell phone number, which I believe still theoretically works. I'm not 100% sure about that, but so as a brand, I think they do a lot of things that are good, and some of their grills, maybe don't make the most sense to do it with pellets, but I do admire the innovation they take with that approach. So I think they're a solid company.
So memo to Mr. Rec and or Mr. Tech, slim the SKUs a little bit. Slim the SKUs and, hone in on those value propositions. I'm just paraphrasing from what Wes was saying. I like the bullhorns. I didn't think they made any grills that didn't have bullhorns. I thought that was pretty much the calling card besides being a wood pellet cooker.
Yeah, I think it's just that little Bullseye. The original one didn't. It had a regular handle, and this new deluxe model has it. I think they feel nice, though. It's like a machined, smooth, polished stainless steel, so it feels good in your hand when you pick it up.
I wish I could go back through my email. I mean, I can. I wish I knew how to exactly search this. But somebody years and years and years ago when that Bullseye grill first came out, there was some barbecue, competition barbecue guy known for being a drunk and a hothead, no names please, but everybody knows who I'm talking about back in the day. And he had a phone video, and it was probably flip phone video back at that time, so, pre-iPhone. And the thing would flame out and flame out and flame out, and he got so pissed. His buddy just happened to be capturing video, and you see him picking it up during a flame out. He just picks it up and he tosses it into his backyard, and it hits, and all the embers are cascading, and it's at night, so it's doubly magical. I mean, it was one of the most incredible things I had ever seen, and he just threw it like it was 5 pounds. So, it was definitely the first iteration of this. They have since beefed it up, but if I ever roll across that, or I can figure out a way to backtrack that time-wise, I'll make sure I send you that video so you can post it as a, hey, back in the day, this was a fun piece of video. Did you get any feedback on the 2026 HPB Expo?
I had a couple people tell me that, they made some good connections there. I might have mentioned last time I wasn't able to go, but yeah. I just in general, I heard, good feedback.
I didn't hear anything about it.
Yeah, I didn't hear a ton about it, but I had a couple people reach out to me that, we had conversations afterwards that told me that they went,
Any big names that you heard?
I didn't really ask about that. It was more, it wasn't, it wasn't, I didn't really have a conversation around that. So I don't know about that.
So I know the year before it was the first of 2 years in New Orleans. So Steven Reichlin was there, and Dr. Barbecue was there, and a whole bunch of other live fire celebrities were in town. But I figured there was probably 0% chance they were going to double back up on that.
Yeah, I didn't see a lot on social media about it, so that might be an indication.
Where are we at in the live fire industry right now, as we're kind of foraying into Q2 here?
I think we're limping along.
Yeah. It feels very brutal right now.
It's rough times. Yeah. I don't know if you saw we talked previously about, Traeger stock and Solo Brand stock, and Solo Brands got delisted again because their market cap was under $15 million. And, with fuel prices and everything else going out, it doesn't seem like a promising year for discretionary purchases.
Anything you're working on from an article standpoint or a scoop standpoint that we should be looking out over at cookoutnews.com?
Just some more grill releases are going to be rolling out here in the next few weeks as we get to grilling season. We just kicked off earnings season, so I'll get to see firsthand, what everybody's doing. And then I have some product reviews that I've been working on that I'm a little behind on, that I'm trying to get out there too. So that's what I got coming up.
Wes Wright can be found at cookoutnews.com. Make sure you're following him socially as well. And be sure to tune in the third Tuesday of every month right here, 35 past the first hour, where he's on the Barbecue Central Show. Wes, always appreciate the time, and we will see you in May.
Great. Thanks, Greg.
You got it. Wes Wright. A bang-up job, as always, giving you the news and the latest. So if you are a fan of Rec-Tec, if you are looking for a Rec-Tec pellet grill that looks like a grill or has the aesthetic of a grill, I mean, it is a pellet cooker for crying out loud. But I think the Bullseye specifically is set up much more like a kettle-style grill. The proximity to the cooking grate, to where the burn pot is, all that fun stuff. Then you have the little slider thing to give you direct access. So I think that's really where you're seeing that heat being talked about in that 1,000-degree range. In theory, does 1,000 degrees and your grill sound like a great time, yes. My ceramic cooker, the Primo, I've had that thing pegged out around 750 degrees, I believe the thermometer is. Now, the good news is, because it is springtime and I'm getting ready to open everything up and clean everything, I'm going to use it all year round, but you got to do the spring cleaning on all these grills and then a couple times during the summer. Chris Young did send me the big grill gauge, so we're going to be trying that out. We're going to see if we can't push the upper limit. Now, the only thing doesn't worry me per se, but remember, when you are removing your OEM thermometer, which is basically somewhere in the top part of that ceramic cooker, that's where the thing sticks in. That's where it is registering the heat. So, if the thermometer stick is coming in here, but your grill grate is here, the temperature is different at the grill grate than it is a little further up on the hood, right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. So while I'm not going to be able to get a ultra true grate level reading, I think I'm going to be able to get at least a much more accurate count on where the top end of that grill is, especially when I have not just the damper fully open, but on the top of the Primo, so you have the damper that you can adjust to like 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way open. Then the whole top slides, kind of like that daisy wheel on the big green egg. So the whole thing can slide off, or you have that thing on the Summit Kamado cooker where you can just lift it up, and now you got a huge air vacuum going through to really get those coals going. That'll be the true test to see where the top end on that bad boy is. So in the next few weeks, I would imagine, just when I thought we were breaking free of winter, the last 2 days have had other ideas, as we have had highs in the mid to upper 30s as we are crunching through April at this point. Usually, we're high 50s into the low 60s, sometimes cresting into the middle 60s and low 70s. But, those haven't really been seen at all, except for, once every so often, for crying out loud. So please get us through into spring so we can at least be regularly into the 50s and the 60s. I'm happy with that at this point. It was very cold this winter, so once we're through it, I'll be happier, though we have gotten the lawn mows in, I can tell you that. While I have a moment, as we are talking about how shitty business is, if you're listening to the show, you're a fan of the show, you've always thought about advertising your product or service on the show, we have openings. An extensive amount of openings at a rapid discount. So if you want to get in front of an audience that is into live fire, is a warm target market, shoot me an email, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. No long-term contracts. The longer you want to commit to me, the more deal we can work out. But if you just want to do it month to month, we can work out a price, and away we go. Thousands of audio downloads every month for people to get at their leisure. And that ad stays with that show in perpetuity. That means forever. Also, you can come on the show as a guest and pitch your stuff. All kinds of value. But again, you're in front of the people that are probably most likely to buy your product or service that is centered around the barbecue and grilling community. So let me know, and we're happy to have a follow-up conversation. greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. And we're back to wrap the first hour right after this. Stick around, be right back.
You're listening to the Barbecue Central Show. Continuing to produce incredibly mediocre content in an exceptionally professional way. You're listening and watching the Barbecue Central Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We thank Wes Wright for joining us last segment. Cookoutnews.com is the website. The other reason I know it is still not warm enough yet where if it is comfortable upstairs, as soon as I take the walk down to the Barbecue Central Show studio, it's freaking cold down here, so I still have the heater going just to the left of me. Like, I'm through that. All right. We are pointing to the second hour, so refresh your libations, and we'll be right back. Hang on.